Check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're good? All right.
You're the man. Thank you.
Appreciate that.
I'll be your white sheet as well. Good.
Close enough. Mic check 1, 2, 3. This is for Liam at CPAC. Check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
focus already?
C'est vraiment, en regard du love, là, c'est vraiment levé dans le comme c'était là, la masse.
Les amis.
Bonjour tout le monde. Let me just say, great to see you here. We are very excited that we're working together to build our plan on a safe, sovereign country. You saw the Prime Minister coming back from his remarkable trip in China, securing $7 billion of trade, really helping some of our key sectors. Obviously, talking about Canada's role in the world and the role that middle powers have and the control that we have over the things that we can control and bringing jobs at home here. And what we're really focused on today is building a safe, sovereign country, good jobs for Canadians, investing in those key sectors, not just the sectors of today, but obviously building a safe, sovereign, and secure, strong economy tomorrow. So I'm happy to take your questions. Alain?
Laura Osmond with The Logic. You've spoken about this AI strategy coming out sometime soon. The Prime Minister has talked about it with a lot of urgency. Do you expect it to be funded out of the gate or in the spring economic update, or is this something that's going to roll out over a long time?
So the Prime Minister, I was delighted that he spoke about the AI strategy. It's a key component of building a safe, sovereign, and strong economy of the future. It plays a big role in that. It'll be a focus. The AI strategy in Q1 will be a focus, and there'll be lots of details to come on the scale and scope of it. But again, I would say a couple of things. One, got to be built on a foundation of trust. Trust is really important. We have to drive adoption, and driving adoption is through trust. And some of the key pillars on that will be obviously trust and talent, and making sure that Canadian companies have the capital, the compute, and the customers in order to thrive and build. And those will all be pillars of our AI national strategy.
Will they require funding?
We are ready to invest in Canada. I think investing in Canadian companies and investing in making sure they have the talent, in making sure that they have the sovereign infrastructure, absolutely will be investing in Canada, as we did. And I will just point out yesterday, our 3 national institutes, Mila, Amy, and Vector, partnered with Innovia to start a $100 million venture science fund to invest in scientists and take their research and commercialize it to turn it into sovereign opportunities here and jobs here. So yeah, absolutely, the government will be supporting that.
The United States Secretary of the Treasury said that Alberta people are very independent people, and he's amplifying the Alberta independence movement by saying that they want sovereignty and they want what the U.S. got. And this comes at a time with the Alberta separatist movement seeking out meetings with the U.S. Treasury. So what are your thoughts on the U.S. meddling in Canadian politics? I
think you saw what the Prime Minister said pretty clearly.
What do you think, sir?
Canada survives because of what Canadians do. And we are investing in what we can control, if I may, what we can control here by investing in our infrastructure, our jobs,
I'm talking about a foreign state meddling in our politics, sir.
And if I can just finish, the Prime Minister has laid out very clearly Canada's role, diversifying our trade and playing the role that middle powers have to make sure that we have a strong economy to make the decisions that keep our country sovereign. And that does not mean that you reply to any comment. We control what we control, which is to build this economy, build new trade relationships, and keep Canada strong.
What concerns do you have then regarding foreign interference from the United States?
Look, the United States foreign policy is their business. That's what they are doing. We've all seen it. I think the outline that you've seen, that Canadians want sovereign choices. They want to make sure that they are safe, sovereign, and secure. That means they need the tools to build their own future. That means expanding trade opportunities. And that's exactly what it is to build that kind of resilience. And you know, your question is exactly why building resilience and the ingredients of resilience matter. And that means economic resilience, that means rule of law, that means trade resilience, and that's exactly what we're investing in, that's what we're building.
Michael Sarabio, CPAC. Minister, can I build? I will ask a question about AI, but can you build on what you're saying? So is the argument that you're making is that economic resilience will address the concerns of Albertans who may want to separate from Canada?
Our job is any government's job is to provide one, security, and two, opportunity. And those things it's incumbent on any government, provincial, municipal, or federal, and to make sure that we hear the concerns of citizens, providing them a sense of security so they can, and protecting their values, protecting the things that Canadians care about, protecting healthcare, protecting, which we've done, protecting childcare, protecting dental care. So those core services that make Canadians feel safe, secure, and give them opportunity. Then protecting economic opportunities. One thing we've done, for example, lowering tax. So Canadians have more opportunities in difficult times, but also investing in Canadians. And so, look, there are always going to be stressful times. And let's not sugarcoat it. The Prime Minister never does. It's a difficult world. There are cleavages that are going to be exacerbated, and some folks are going to try to exacerbate cleavages. And we understand that. The job is to continue to invest in Canadians, to give them the opportunities, because this is the best place to live, to invest, and to thrive. And that is the case that we've got to make economically every day, and that's why we're moving with urgency to do just that.
And will that address sentiments of Alberta separatism?
Again, the job for any government is to, first of all, protect the right to free speech. Where people are going to have views on everything, and that's part of our values. The other part of our value is to make sure that the case for Canada is strong, and it is strong. The case for Canada is strong economically. The case for Canada is strong from a values perspective. That's why we're building. That's why we're investing in provinces like Alberta. That's why the Major Projects Office, led by Don Farrell, is there, because we're building all across Canada, including, of course, in Alberta.
And I want to move on to AI strategy. We're still waiting for the strategy
Now I'm
to
on
be unveiled.
CPAC. Now it's like a whole show.
Well, I feel comfortable doing this. Anyway, so listen, when it comes to the AI strategy, in your consultations, what do corporations want to continue investing in this country when it comes to AI? Is it de-risking the investment? Is it loans? What is the message you're hearing in terms of fostering that industry and keeping it here in Canada?
Yeah, so my first priority is what do Canadians want. And what Canadians want is trust. I want to trust it. So there's a legislative part. You got to build the trust. Without the trust, the adoption of any technology, which will give the jobs. Two, opportunities to create. Again, let me just say we've got over 3,000 AI companies, pure play AI companies. 800,000 people work in the digital sector in Canada. That's the largest and fastest growing sector of the economy. So absolutely, we want investment in that. We are encouraging investment. There are things going on now. I'll give you one example. Our Compute Access Fund, a $300 million Compute Access Fund that small, medium-sized companies are using in order to access compute to grow. So absolutely, we want to create the conditions where other companies are investing in Canada, but also where Canadians are investing. That's why we have a Buy Canadian. You saw the MOU with Cohere, you saw the MOU with Coveo and others. So again, the government has to invest, the government has to adopt, and then we have to create, and we are creating the conditions where investment here in our innovators is happening. And again, Canada leads in research and frontier research on AI. We have to convert that into commercialization, and we're doing that right now.
Hi, Catherine Morrison with the Canadian Press. The Justice Bill criminalizing deepfakes wouldn't cover most of the deepfakes on X. I'm wondering if there are any plans to change that, and will the government stop using the platform?
So great question. As I said, the non-consensual sharing of sexualized imagery and deepfake imagery is a form of violence. And I'm very glad that C-16 and Minister Fraser's bill that's tabled that would criminalize the consensual sharing of deepfake imagery and sexualized imagery. We got to protect the vulnerable. And there's a lot, but that's only part of a suite. Under my ministry, we will be modernizing our privacy laws, and there will be an element of making sure that we tackle deepfakes. And I'm very interested in things like the right to deletion, and we're looking very closely at things like that in this piece of legislation. Absolutely. There is also my colleague, Mark Miller, on the online harms. And so there'll be this suite of protections to make sure Canadians have that trust and that Canadians are protected from some of the really horrible things that have happened online. I will also note that the Privacy Commissioner has started an investigation into X. And again, there was already an investigation before, but he's added an investigation into the use of deepfakes. I also note that X then changed their policy around what you can do with this horrific tool about notification and what they're doing. So I note that there's been changes there, but we are also having a suite of regulation to make sure Canadians, children, citizens, consumers are protected.
Also, is the government agreeing to set aside the TikTok ban related to the recent China trip or wanting to have better relations with China?
Look, we're glad that we're engaging pragmatically and eyes wide open with China. That's a file that's not under my purview, but there's lots of conversations ongoing with China, but this is a pragmatic, constructive engagement in the world that we need, and that's what you're seeing with China, and we are glad to see the Prime Minister go there and bring back some historic investments.
Monsieur Solomon, j'ai vu que vous parliez bien français
Oui, je
à
comprends
Montréal
le français,
récemment.
oui, mais je parle comme une vache espagnole, mais j'essaie.
On peut essayer. Mes collègues ont posé beaucoup de questions sur le plan, sur l'intelligence artificielle qui s'en vient. Je veux savoir quand on va voir ça, si vous avez une date. Et aussi, est-ce qu'il va y avoir là-dedans, vous parlez beaucoup d'investissement, mais est-ce qu'il va y avoir des régulations sur l'intelligence artificielle dans ce plan-là?
Oui, merci pour la question. As I said, il faut que je réponde en anglais pour la clarté, mais je travaille sur mon français maintenant. But yes, we will have un projet de loi. We are going to have some legislation on our privacy and our data. There'll be some legislation on that. There'll also be a projet de loi on online harms that my colleague is working on. But absolutely, we are making sure that aspects of regulation, in terms of some deep fakes, in terms of treatment of children's information, absolutely. In terms of l'IA, in terms of AI, we're doing ongoing conversations, certainly with the heritage on the copyright side, and there's lots of issues that we've discussed with stakeholders that we're working on right now as we roll out our national AI strategy.
Et en terminant, vous parliez de trust, la confiance, sur l'intelligence artificielle. Je ne sais pas si pour mes collègues de la télé et de la radio, vous voulez vous essayer en français, mais est-ce que l'intelligence artificielle qui vient des États-Unis est digne de confiance en ce moment?
It is really important that we develop Canadian sovereign AI. One of the reasons why we did an MOU with Cohere as a foundation model, parce que l'IA canadien est souverain. And that's important. And it is important that we also build the entire Canadian stack. And this is why we will be supporting everything from skills and training, but to developing an ecosystem here, foundation models from data centers. Those are very important. The definition of sovereignty to make sure that core government workloads and that sensitive information for all Canadians is subjected to Canadian law and not subjected to foreign coercion is a key component of our AI strategy to build that trust. People want to know. La confiance, c'est la fondation de la stratégie de l'IA.
Et l'IA américain, oui ou non, c'est digne de confiance?
I mean, look, there's American AI everywhere. There's lots of AI. People will use them, and that's part of what we're talking about in our plans to make sure that people's privacy data and that they have the tools to make sure that they're protected.
Are you considering banning social media for children under 14?
Merci.
Are you considering banning social media for children under 14?